Alright, we got a lot to get through in this episode, so we're just going to start. This week we took a trip down to Charlotte to go pick up a 5x10. We won this one off of a site called Storage Treasures. We paid about $30 for it. There was a $10 fee, and I was expecting a $100 cleanup fee. However, was pleasantly surprised that this facility does not require you to completely empty out the locker, nor do they charge you a fee, which is really awesome if you find a lot of stuff you really don't care about. Now you don't have to worry about getting it all out, nor do you have to worry about what are you going to do with it once you got it. As a bonus, about 5 minutes into us getting into the locker, the woman that runs it come down and said, "Hey, I've got a bunch of other storage lockers that we didn't put up for auction. Would you like to look at them?"
Of course.
Okay, I've got about 3 or 4 on this floor, and then up on floor 2, there's about 4 more, and then on floor 3, there's 5 more. 2 of which I'm going back this coming Saturday to pick up. Words cannot convey how happy I am that I did not have to clean the lockers out. Essentially, I got to go through with a blank check and say, "Ooh, I want that," or "Ooh, I want that." But on the flip side of that token, we done a ton of walking. Because it's an interior facility, you can't back right up to it, so you got to truck everything. This place was massive. It is extremely easy to get lost in it, and we walked probably the better part of 2 or 3 miles inside of there. So storage facilities operate this way. Somebody comes in and wants to rent a specified space. They rent that space for a certain amount of money every month, and life goes on as normal. But whenever a tenant fails to pay, the storage facility assumes possession. Once they assume possession of whatever contents are inside the storage unit, they're then bound by state laws regarding liens that the contents must be auctioned off. That's one way. The other way is called a non-lien or a manager special. With a manager special, it's a little bit different. Many times they'll take a bunch of other smaller lockers and combine them into one gigantic locker. The other way that they can do it is a voluntary surrender from the tenant saying, "Okay, you just take all of it, I'm done." On paper, there's really not that big of a difference, but in contents, it's a massive difference. A manager special has been gone through. A non-lien has the potential of having gone through. And a lien means chances are nobody's been through it unless it was the tenant. This unit today is a non-lien, which means the tenant voluntarily surrendered everything that was in there. Regardless, here we go. Okay, we just got down here from a little over an hour and a half drive. I have a sick boy with me who refused to stay home. Anyway, we will find out what we got going on in here. Don't normally drive this far for a locker, but it was extremely cheap and might as well branch out. Hotel.
Hey, all this stuff in here.
Yeah.
This one?
Yep.
Oh, goodness.
I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the truck, man. I don't know that all that's going to get in the Yeah, there's, I don't know. We got down here for a 5x10 that was $30, and they gave us the option of looking at additional lockers to basically see if there was anything that we wanted in them. And Jaden found multiple pairs of Jordans, and he also found how many TVs?
Probably like
4 flat screens. So definitely a good find, and we'll be coming back to this place. Listen, research is going to be painful no matter how you go about it. The best you can hope to do is lessen the damage. So if you're going to have to do it, you might as well do it right. I've kind of put this pain scale in terms of things that I would consider painful. All the way from something that you would barely notice and that would probably be a meh. That would be the very bottom. From there, we would only go up in terms of pain. From meh to having to sit through a family-friendly movie, to getting kicked in the crotch, to stepping on a Lego, and then all the way to the very top of waking up one day when you're 45 and realizing you've lost a decade of your life. Now you have to hide the psychological trauma of it. So here we go. This first one. Your basic search, Google, is probably going to be the most painful that you're going to go through because it's more than likely not going to bear a whole lot of fruit that you can use. You're going to be left guessing and hoping that you topped it in right. One step down from that in the pain scale would be eBay, a generic search. You're going to get a little bit more accurate results, but unless you set things up properly, you're going to get results all across the spectrum. Up next, eBay targeted research. Now, this is a resource that's available to eBay sellers. This allows you to see what has sold and how many of it and what time. This is extremely handy whenever you're trying to figure out what the trend of something is. Is the supply going up or is the supply going down for it? Now, one of the biggest uses and benefits of AI is Google Lens. It is not always right, it is not always correct, and sometimes it clearly just guesses. But it is a great place to start. Then finally, my top pick, and it comes from a combination of both of these, Google Lens and eBay. When you use them together, you will be amazed at how efficient your workflow becomes. So you need to find out exactly what something is. Use Google Lens, take a picture of it, and then scroll through the results. You're going to end up finding what that thing is. Then you can take that name and then plug it into eBay research, set a couple of filters, and then figure out exactly what the thing is that you have and what's it really worth. I don't know what the lesson learned is, but I'm going to take a stab at it. There really is no becoming an expert on anything without truly becoming an expert on everything, which is impossible. If I was to sit here and say, only stay within 50 miles of wherever your home base of operations is, we wouldn't have lucked into finding this storage unit. I'm not excited about driving an hour and a half away, period. But when given the option between driving an hour and a half to a location and then an hour and a half back versus 2.5 days of trips back and forth to the dump, I kind of think maybe driving really isn't that bad. So maybe the real takeaway is sometimes be willing to understand and admit that you're not an expert. Sometimes it's being willing to step outside of what you would normally do so that you can continue growing. And that's a good lesson for me to learn. It's a good lesson for anyone to learn. Until next time, take care. You want to guess at what it is before I open it?
Did you shake it?
No.
You want to shake it?
No. There's 3 X's on it though.
Oh, maybe
So-
Necklace Day. That's my vote. You want to see what the kids think it is?
Who's going to be the one to tell them what it is if it is?
Well, you can tell them.
Oh, funny. Alright, there. What do you think's in this present? I started to open it, but I didn't yet.
All boys, come here.
What do you think's in it?
A Nerf gun. That's what I was gonna say, but I'm going to say the same thing. I just like a Pokemon card set. Baseball and football cards.
What do you think's in it?
Soccer cards.
What do you think's in it?
You know, I don't know. The 3 X's on there is kind of, so I'm not quite sure. Oh, no, we're good. Rip it off.
Oh, yeah, we're
What
close.
is this?
A Carolina Panthers
Puzzle.
puzzle.
Now I know why they left it in the storage locker.
Somebody wants it.
Yep,
Here, let me
now
turn
I
it
know
around
why.
so you can see. There you go.
I probably would have left it in there also.
Somebody really wants it.
Fabulous